and welcome back to another episode of The Real Podcast of Dallas, the only podcast dedicated to a drug-free world, the only podcast dedicated to positivity, the only podcast dedicated to you, and you, and everyone else. How are you, Cindy?
I'm good. How are you, Leo?
I'm doing good.
Great.
It's good to record again.
Yes. It feels like it's been a long time.
Yeah. It's been a few days, but it feels like a long time. How have you been?
I've been good. It's just been, a stressful month. It's like the month where January is the longest month. I don't know why. It is. Starting out with like getting all my, annual doctor's visits and done, and those are never fun. They're stressful. Especially the older you get, you want to make sure
that your oil changed, tires rotated. Yes.
Maintenance. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Vehicle maintenance. Yes.
So before we start, how can they listen to this podcast? When somebody asks you, Cindy, how can I listen to this podcast? What do you tell them?
Well, if somebody asked me that, I would tell them to Google The Real Podcast Dallas first. But if you wanted to, you could go to Facebook, you could go to YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
Yes, Podchaser and Giovanna, something like that. I mean, we're everywhere. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing at how something so small can go out and reach a lot of people.
Right.
So it's a good little platform.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. I mean, just like you said, the little podcast that did.
Yeah, Maria says that did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's good. It's good to continue to do this, and so it's been a long month for you, huh?
It is. January's always long.
Yeah.
And like we've got all of this week, and then we have one more day next Monday.
Yes.
Then we'll roll into February, which is always short. So
it's always a short one. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where they say life goes on, and now you feel like it goes on. And sometimes it just cycles over and over
and over and over.
Yes. But yes, this is The Real Podcast of Dallas, and we are recording at night.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Sunday night.
Sunday night, yes. Not that it matters to anybody because people listen to it at different times.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and I want to say hi to my little Karime.
Oh.
Yes, because I know she listens.
That's so sweet.
I want to say hi to you, and
you should sing her a song.
Yes, I'll start singing you a song, little Karime. She'll probably be like, "Oh no!"
You know how big she's gonna be when you see her.
I know. When I finally see her, she's gonna be graduating. No,
I know.
Hopefully,
but
not.
They grow so fast.
They do. They do. And yes, I'm talking about my grandbaby. It's hard to believe I'm a grandfather.
Oh, and so I guess Karina sees her more than
she sees her more than I do. But like grandfather, I thought, you have your perception of what a grandfather should be like, and I don't feel like that.
Yeah. Well, I think everything's different now. I mean,
right.
Lives are longer, and so you can be 60 years old, and not that you're 60, but you can be 60 and still young.
Right, right. Your grandfather does a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyhow, I just want to say hi to her and my daughter Ileana and my other daughters, Priscilla, Talara, and I want to say hi to Tomas. And
don't forget all their names. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Just don't ask me how old they are, because I don't know.
Right.
When their birthdays are, I don't know. But they get gifts, so. But anyhow, wow. So yeah, it's January, and we celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King. I hope
Yes,
that you
we
guys
did.
got to listen to something that we put together, and I'll end the show when we end it with that so people can hear it again. So it's Martin Luther King Day, and then Valentine's Day's coming, President's Day, a lot of holidays. So
Yeah.
kids get a lot of days
Valentine's
off.
Day is always it's usually a disappointing holiday.
Why?
Well, it's just because it's you don't get the day off, and it's special
Right.
if you're newly in love. And I mean, like my husband and I, like, he'll bring me flowers or whatever, but it's just like emotion of just doing it because
work is involved.
work is involved, and because
Yeah.
you've got other things to do because it's a work day.
Yeah,
You've gotta
yeah.
get-
It should be a
so it's
holiday.
like, oh, thank you for the flowers and the nice card, and you have to rush out to get the card. And
Yeah. You had to stand in line and watch all those people fight for the scraps that are left because last minute people, procrastinators. That's what I would do. I would be in there. Oh, it's horrible.
if Valentine's Day were like, on a day off or something like that,
Right.
it would just be that much better. And I know for adolescents in particular, it could be very difficult, for girls who want, their dream guy to come
Well,
tell them.
now with COVID, I mean, it might be a little bit more different, especially if you're in
Right.
school online. So, it's-
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, everybody's going to school, getting sick, and
yes.
teachers are sick, and it's a mess.
It is. It's a different world, and I watch the news and see where the school closings are, and it's like they'll be open and then they close, and they open and they close, and then you think of holidays like, simple, just like Valentine's Day,
Right.
and it's like, well, what are they gonna do, or
Right.
homecoming or things like that. So, yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it is a different world, and we knew that. We knew once they started shutting things down, I knew things probably weren't going to be the same for a while, because they never shut.
Yeah.
The district never shut schools down for snow days unless they had to be really, really, really bad, or
Right.
the heaters didn't work.
Yeah.
But they didn't like to shut anything down, and of course the job didn't shut down.
No. No, it isn't.
Yeah, they kept that open.
But yeah, it's been a vastly different, couple of years.
Yeah.
But it's not all bad. I mean, I will always say that it's not all bad. There have been some good things, and
Yes.
the reset button's being pushed, and workers have more leverage now,
Right.
because they can say, like, I deserve rights too,
Yes.
which is fantastic. And
The pay's
People are-
pay's gotten better.
pay has gotten better. It still needs a lot of oomph, because I was watching Good Morning America, and they said every employee in the country would need a 7% increase just to keep up with this year's inflation. Never mind last year's. And,
Right.
that's hard pressed to come by at 7%. I don't think we'll be getting 7%.
Yeah. But and I might be I don't want to say out of line maybe, or unrealistic, but it's when you got to get creative.
Yes, you do.
This is when and we talked about it on our last podcast, redefining yourself.
Yes.
And sometimes, you got to really think outside of the box and get out of your comfort zone and redefine yourself. Sometimes, you may be doing something and you're good at it, but you may want to explore changes, maybe asking, how can I do better?
Well, and that's, I think, what a lot of people are doing. They're becoming entrepreneurs, or they're completely changing their lines of work. And
Right.
I I just think it's a great positive that people are trying to, live their lives versus just work their whole life. I mean, unless it's, the work that you're loving.
Right. Well,
that is your life.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance, but
yes.
But yeah, redefining yourself, and those of you that are in school, now's the time to really take advantage of the educational system. Now's the time to really focus and really jump to the top, because everything is out of order, and if you really just apply yourself a little bit, you're going to do a lot with it.
Well, and I think, like, you could even say, I mean, you come to a place where you realize that, yes, a degree is a piece of paper, but it's important to have. It opens more doors. And, so my daughter's a junior, but we're hoping that she'll, have a double major in two different, fields, one science and one art. So she has more flexibility in her career, choices and options. And so, and yours is, something you love. You got your master's in counseling, which is fantastic. Because you are a counselor.
I am, and yes, it's
and you were a counselor before you became a counselor.
Yeah, I was counseling without a license. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Right.
But yes, I mean, you have these gifts. People have gifts. They have skills that a lot of times they're using, and they don't realize that they can actually make a living out of it.
Right.
There's people who like to draw,
true.
people who like to cook, people who like to serve people, to just help. I mean, you can get a job doing that. It's just redefining yourself and having that confidence to know that you can make a living out of it.
Yes. It's so true. It's so true. I mean, I don't know if you know Marie Kondo, or what's her name? Marie Kwan, I don't know. But, she always liked to organize. And then she now has her own TV show, and she, has a book, and, mega money. That's fantastic. People who like to decorate and become, interior designers. All kinds of options are out there.
Yeah, anything's possible, and especially now with the internet. I mean, people who would do things privately in their room, sing or joke or draw. Now they put a camera in their room, and wow, look what comes out. But that can also be dangerous, because you do inappropriate things, and so you have to be careful.
No, it's true.
You have to be careful. But yeah, doing something positive. I had a teacher tell me when I was in 10th grade, and I always have to think 10th grade, because I failed 9th grade. So I have to think, was I in 9th grade, 10th grade? So technically I was in 10th grade.
That's funny.
And I remember I had a economics teacher, and he told me, he says, you'll always be, if you ever want to make money, how-to books are always a good way of doing that. Learn how to do something and teach it.
Yes.
And it's funny how he said books, but YouTube has a lot of how-to.
Yes.
And the people there make a lot of money.
Right. Well, and I think too, especially Dallas County, there's such a high Latina